Hi, friends. Welcome to this new YouTube series. Excuse me, where I introduce myself. There's a lot of new people in the YouTube channel. And so, hello. Hello. My name is Lauren Hutton, according to my passport. And I am about to turn 44 years old and experienced God self-realization about 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago. So I'm still relatively new to teaching God self-realization. I started New Energy Creator in 2016. And since I was a little girl, as long as I can remember, um, I had an imaginary Indian friend, which is a little kid way to say a guru. And you might know him as Ascended Master Al Morya Khan. He was born into a Rajput Rajasthani family, northern India, into a royal family, and experienced God self-realization, entered full luminosity, was able to materialize and dematerialize his biological body at will. And he's been with me my whole life, teaching me, preparing me, everything that I'm doing here. The closest thing to what he has taught me comes from Kashmir Shaivism, which is a lineage that very few people know about these days. Most people are doing ecstatic dance, cacao ceremonies, yoga for exercise, taking a bunch of drugs, trying to reach God or something, but they don't believe in God. So, Moria came from a Kashmir Shaivism lineage, Tantrika yoga, and he was with me um, through the whole expression. I had a full blown, spontaneous Kundalini awakening in 2012. And I didn't take care of my body the way I do now. So Kundalini releases in the gut, and if your gut's not healthy, um, it creates a lot of havoc in the body. So I was very, very ill. Um, my dad was in a hospital, in a coma, and I began to feel what I described to my doctor, not knowing that they would think I was crazy, as having contractions in my uterus, that I wasn't pregnant. Um, and I could talk for days and hours. And if you've been with us a long time, you know that I would and I will. Um, and prior to that Kundalini awakening, I was living a really regular human life, addicted to success. I was married. I worked 60 hours a week, sometimes more, as a lobbyist for um, cancer research funding. So I went to governments and convinced legislators to fund cancer research funding until I realized, wait a second, this makes no sense. I'm just advocating for more drugs, and that's not what the way out or the way in. But when I was living that lifestyle, I was sitting in my house one day, and my childhood best friend, El Moria, came to me and he said, "Are you ready yet? You have been lollygagging, dragging your feet. Are you ready yet?" And this was 2010. And I said, "Yes, I'm ready." And then I had the full-blown earthquake in 2012. So 14 years of Kundalini expressions, experiences, spontaneous kriyas, um, expressing this God self through that. And in 2015, 2016, I found an organization called the Crimson Circle, and Moria said, "You need to go there. You need to learn that language. People aren't going to listen to you speak in Sanskrit." And they don't know what Kashmir Shaivism is. They don't know what Kriya Yoga is. So you need to learn their language. You meet people where they're at. So a lot of the language we use here, lovingly, I learned there so I could talk to you properly and not run you off. Um, Listening to a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl talk about Kashmir Shaivism. Um, Being a woman, I've realized that a lot of people don't want to hear a young woman speak. Um, Another ascended master I work with named Kuthumi, who came from a Tibetan Buddhism background, a mystic sect of Buddhism. I won't go into the details. He always says, if I had gray hair and glasses and was a white man, people would listen to me. If people can't see past that, I chose to be a woman in this life and do it this way. I love being female. Yeah, and beyond the veil, there's no such thing as masculine and feminine. It's an earth creation in this relative reality, in this dualistic reality. But I greatly enjoy that. So, um, yeah, just a little bit about me. And what I do is I teach Kriya Yoga, um, from a Western, modern, more digestible approach. I work with Babaji and Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. I'm not a channeler. I have conversations with them and like I would a regular human being. I don't experience a divide between relative reality and absolute reality. Um, I coexist simultaneously in both. Most of the people who have come here came from Crimson Circle ungrouped. We do get some bottom feeders sometime who want to grab, which is just how it goes. I'm learning boundaries. My bleeding heart is learning boundaries. But if I don't say anything else in this video, it would be that I have learned from working with all the beings that I've worked with in this life that if it doesn't point you back to God, the internal God that lives within you, God consciousness, Shiva and Shakti, if it's not pointing you back to God, most of you watching this are from the Western world. I'm not talking about an external God like in modern day Christianity or something. I'm talking about the God that lives within you. Behold, the kingdom lives within you. Behold, the kingdom is inside of you. If things don't point you back to God, it's placing authority in a place that it shouldn't be placed, right? So anybody you work with should always be pointing you back to God. And we do that here. I am just invisible enough to allow the light to shine through me. I'm not shining my light or I don't own it. I've just become invisible enough, an empty vessel for the will of God, is what Moria called it, to shine the light. Um, so without direct contact, direct experience, direct God contact, everything that I've seen in spiritual groupthink is conceptual. It's not embodied. It doesn't come with direct experience. It comes from synthetic experiences. I don't know how to turn those off. Synthetic experiences and conceptual masturbation, for lack of a better term. Pardon my vulgarity. Mental masturbation is spiritual materialism in this modern world. That means you're just mulling concepts, arguing concepts, talking about what's happening on earth without actually doing anything from within yourself. There's a lot of sitting in the cheap seats and trying to direct traffic that way. So that's what we do here. All of our advanced notes and programs are on our website and Patreon page. I am currently working on redesigning the new Energy Creator website. The overarching theme on the new Energy Creator website will be its Ascended Master teachings from a variety of Ascended Masters, including myself, um, but made modern. It's Ascended Master teachings for the new energy, right? Rather than the new age. A lot of the Ascended Masters teachings that people have become familiar with were based in the Piscean age, the new age, and we do it from the age of Aquarius, which in my experience, direct experience, someone did not tell me this, direct experience began in the Grand Conjunction in December 2020, the age of Aquarius, the new energy, a different era has come to planet Earth, the second coming of Christ, the apocalypse, which is destructive only in the fact that it's destroying old systems to clear the way for the Christ consciousness to return to Earth, the second coming of Christ. Um, I remember all my lifetimes. I remember my first lifetime on Earth. Um, I remember the Lemurian age. I remember the Atlantean age. I remember when we were sent back to the Dark Ages after the flood and fall and fires in Atlantis. And Kriya Yoga was established after the fall of Atlantis by those who survived to create passageways that got around this standard biological design, this standard biological form, the way the mind has been developed for humans creates such a separation between relative reality and absolute, which creates, for example, to keep it basic, you're born into a human body and many people, I don't know how to get rid of that, but we have a good laugh. You're in this life and you forgot who you were until grace descends from the vertical like a lightning bolt and you remember, oh wait, there's so much more. So we take that, there's so much more, and we cultivate it. The place that Moria sent me to study and learn their language, um, the goal is to end the reincarnation cycle for most people. At least I think it is. It started to become very muddled by the time I left. There were so many different side distractions. Oh, we're going to go down this rabbit hole and then another one. And every cell in my body was like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Every cell is singing to God, singing to God, 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 God. So, having experienced God's self-realization 7 years ago, I realized it was just the beginning, not the end. The reincarnation cycle did not whip me unwittingly into this lifetime. I chose to come back even though I didn't need to. I really don't think I'm special. I think I'm different. And the only difference is I remember everything, and most humans forgot it. But I'm not special. Everybody is capable of experiencing what I'm experiencing, what Moria experienced, what Yeshua experienced. I really, but truly, deeply believe that. So everything I teach is to open the doorways, the passageways up in all of creation, which lives inside of you. The universe isn't out there. You could take a spaceship out there, there's a whole lot of emptiness. Creation lives inside of you. So we create passageways into that. And the more you become aware of a greater picture, the more luminous you become. And it has a great impact for classic Earth reality, as well as a place that Yeshua called the kingdom, and Tibetan Buddhists like Kuthumi called Shambhala, Shangri-La, all these words for the same thing, Theos in God, enthusiasm in God. Theo is a word for God. So I just want to introduce myself. I'm still learning. I'm going to learn with you all. Um, some people had come in to our programs who weren't from Crimson Circle and were run off by that harsh energy. I want to invite you back if you left. We've polished the sharp edges off of that rough energy that drove you away. I know that it was a lot. There's a lot of karmic intensity and groupthink there. Every person who was there, who's in our space now, has ungrouped and really started to soften those hard edges that were making it hard for you to stay. So I invite you to come back if you'd like to. If you're too scarred from that, I'm sorry. Um, Having worked with Shambra for the last 6 years, I have a full faith in their ability to go beyond a group think and to redesign this highly, highly adaptable biology through direct contact with God, expression, experience, realization from the neck down rather than a conceptual realization. Any soft sovereign beings are always welcome in our programs. However, harsh energies will be rejected. I didn't have enough boundaries at the beginning because I'm learning with you all. So that is a really clear boundary. And after 3 strikes of super aggressive mind violence, there's 2 warnings, and the third one is you're never coming back here. And I'm not saying that to like make myself, I'm saying that I want everyone who comes in to feel safe. We have a nice little soft and sovereign community where we don't correct each other or life police each other. On the Patreon page, we'll have a new website out um, next year. Most of our programs are sold out. However, the Patreon page always has it just has a ton of content, a ton. You can come in for free, check it out. If you decide you like it, you can upgrade your pledge. If you decide it's not for you, you can delete it. There's no commitment. I'm not going to chase you down. That Patreon page, having patrons of our work, gives me some flexibility and fluidity to say, get a new website, to record an audiobook. You don't make any money off audiobooks, but I feel it's important to put it out there. And because the soft sovereign beings who gather under the banyan tree, which is our gathering space, have softened even more, I'm able to stop speaking in the language from where people came from and speak in my own language, Kutumi's language, Moria's language, and focus on throwing this identity into the winds of transmigration and seeing how it all turns out. That's enough for today. If you're new here, welcome. If it feels like a good fit, I'm glad you're here. If you're just window shopping and collecting, you can keep on going. It's not a numbers game here. I get people contact me all the time to grow my numbers on YouTube, to grow my numbers here, to grow my numbers there. And I'm like, why? It's the same. My parents put me on swim team because I like the water. And the swim coach said, you got to get in the water and swim faster than all the people next to you. And I was like, why? Why am I trying to swim faster than the person next to me for a ribbon? Makes no sense. So, we're not a great place for window shoppers or dabblers, um, or new age or people drinking cacao and taking drugs. It's just not us. So you might be bored if you're looking for super stimulation, right? It's all of this is taking place in subtle energy, the subtle anatomy, and we really get into that. The people who come to our space have realized that there's nothing in external reality that's going to satisfy them, right? They've tried everything to find satisfaction outside of themselves. Sex, partners, the idea of a twin flame, the this, the that, the spiritual angels and realm walkers and this and that and um, the distractions, the materialism of it all. So, if you have exhausted yourself with spiritual materials, flighting, distractions, looking for satisfaction through human being entertained, food, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. Once you've exhausted yourself, this is a good place to be. If you're still out and doing all that, just go to the next window shop that'll offer you some instant results. We don't offer instant results. There's no such thing. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. So that's not going to create a million subscribers. You know, you do know. Just like Yeshua said, we do know. We do know. One cannot say, look here or look there. Behold, the kingdom is within you. And once you know that, you no longer thirst. You're no longer thirsty. You're no longer hungry. All right. I'm going to continue to come on the YouTube page and talk about the background and what I teach and or what we teach. I'm glad you're here. If you're looking for a sovereign, safe space without a group think, it's a good place for you. We like to say that we're doing it alone together. Alone together. To me, those are the best friends. I have the best friends I have are we're alone together. They're in their aloneness and I'm in my aloneness. And every now and then we get together to be alone together. No groupthink, individuality and uniqueness are celebrated. We're not going to all see the same thing. Even Moria and I don't see the same thing. He sees what he sees, I see what I see, and sometimes we play a game where we put them together. Oh, yeah. I am in New Mexico I have two very big poodle dogs. Yep. And I'm originally from Texas, and I've traveled all over the world, picking up parts and pieces of myself. All my different lifetimes, I went and picked them up. I'm an only child. I am single. I surf well. I like to be outside. Every night around 6, 7-ish p.m., I go into an altered state of consciousness. My body begins to vibrate and my eyes roll back in my head. And I stay with that as long as I can until I fall asleep. And when I fall asleep, it's empty. It's free of phenomena. And I wake up about 4 or 5 and work on the materials every day. So I get it all out before I go, before I go back home, which is in here. And then, what I mean is I'm already home, but once I do what I came to do, I will just dissolve this biology and only pop back in it as needed. Moria possesses senses that laugh at time and space, and he shared those beautiful gifts with me. And I hope to share them with you if you're serious, right? All right. Nice to meet you.